ABC News with Tim Shepherd. Final data on the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine will be handed to Australian authorities by the end of next month. The pharmaceutical giant says it has new information showing its jab is just as effective as others on the market, such as Pfizer. While that data is yet to be released publicly, it's being discussed during a phone meeting between the CEO of AstraZeneca and Federal Health Minister Greg Hunt, who says it's promising news.
They don't have all of the data in yet, but the results are good. And that means that we will have, subject to our Australian regulators agreeing, a safe, effective and plentiful vaccine. And we've set March as our commencement date.
The WA opposition has called for an independent inquiry into the government's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic after a woman was charged with breaching hotel quarantine. 49-year-old Jenny Du Bois was 7 days into her mandatory 14-day hotel quarantine period when she escaped from a Perth hotel on Saturday morning. She was charged with failing to comply with a direction after police found her at a hospital south of Perth. Opposition spokesman Tony Kristasevich says while the woman tested negative, the situation could have been catastrophic.
Lives could have been put at risk. We're lucky they weren't, but we need to be doing better, and we are calling for an independent inquiry into the preparedness of Western Australia to deal with COVID.
Overseas, a mutated strain of coronavirus behind a rapid rise in infections across Britain has made its way to South Korea. The Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency says 3 people who entered South Korea from London last week tested positive to the new variant. At the same time, Japan has banned non-resident foreign nationals from entry to the country after it recorded its first local case of the more contagious virus. US President Donald Trump has belatedly signed a bipartisan coronavirus relief and government spending bill into law. The BBC's Nomia Iqbal reports.
President Trump has ended the last-minute turmoil he created. His decision to wait for many days meant that millions of Americans had been unable to claim unemployment benefits. The bill, now that it's signed, will restore that, stop evictions, help small businesses and provide food stamps to struggling families. But in a statement, Mr. Trump made clear that more needed to be done, including increasing the individual payments to Americans. President Trump had been spending the last few days playing golf in Florida, as lawmakers in both parties spent days urging him to give the bill the green light.
Back home and in New South Wales, a man has been charged with shooting at a jet ski rider on the Murray River yesterday afternoon. It's alleged the 51-year-old fired at least 2 shots in the direction of a 23-year-old man who was on a jet ski near Moama in southern New South Wales. Police have searched a houseboat and a nearby home, seizing 3 firearms, including a shotgun along with ammunition and cannabis. The 51-year-old has been refused bail and is due before Wagga Wagga local court again on Saturday. In the Northern Territory, police say a man has died after falling from a cliff on the Darwin Esplanade this morning. Paramedics were called around 4 o'clock and declared the 29-year-old dead at the scene. Investigations are continuing. Extreme weather events are continuing to take a huge toll around the world, causing thousands of deaths and massive financial losses. The BBC's Matt McGrath has more.
While the world has been struggling to get to grips with the coronavirus pandemic, millions of people have also had to cope with the impacts of extreme weather events. In China, long-term flooding caused over $30 billion worth of damage between June and October this year. Floods also caused major problems in India, with around 2,000 deaths and $10 billion in financial losses. Christian Aid says that climate change is a common factor in all these events, which will continue to grow in scale in the years ahead.
To sport now, and the skipper of the victorious yacht in the Melbourne to Devonport race says he feels fortunate to be able to compete this year. Lord Jiminy has taken line honours in just over 23 hours. The Sydney to Hobart race had to be cancelled just days out from when it was due to start because of the coronavirus outbreak in Sydney. Lord Jiminy skipper Guillaume Leroux says he and the crew are relieved to have got the race underway given the pandemic.
Even last night when it was a bit tough, we are just thinking about how lucky we are to be out in the ocean and doing what we love to do.
And in cricket, India have taken 2 early wickets against Australia on day 3 of the Boxing Day test at the MCG. Opener Joe Burns was dismissed cheaply before Marnus Labuschagne was caught for 28. A short time ago, Australia was 2 for 56, still 75 runs behind India's first innings total. ABC News.
You're